Today, November 5th, 2016, marks the 10-year anniversary of me opening my first YouTube account. And also, in exactly 1 month's time, I'll be turning 20 years old. So, as you'd imagine, I'm feeling quite retrospective. So I thought it'd be an interesting idea to talk about my history as a YouTube consumer, commenter, and most importantly to me, creator. My YouTube story starts on this day in 2006. I created my first YouTube account. Not for commenting, rating, or subscribing though, for creating. I was inspired by the idea of using a source material, such as a video game trailer, and making something new and funny out of it. I was using Windows Movie Maker to create compilations of clips of the Rabbids from the 2006 game Rayman Raving Rabbids saying their hit catchphrase, "Da." Nowadays, that's just juvenile and dumb, probably, although Vine compilations still exist for now, so... But back then, early YouTube poops and mashups were all over YouTube, due to an overall grey area in copyright, which still somewhat exists to this day. It was entertaining for a 9-year-old Alex, and I felt a sense of accomplishment when uploading a video to YouTube for the first time. My story continues with many a channel started and then deleted, some forgotten, probably with some videos still on, which I may never ever remember. My first, however, is still up to this day. The next notable stop on my story of BrainstormAlex is around 2009, when I began to get a big interest in technology on YouTube. I've always super been into tech. I don't really remember life before I was drawing in MS Paint on my old Windows 95 computer, so when I saw that people were reviewing, unboxing, and giving away technology on YouTube, it was fascinating. I became fans of names such as Soldier Knows Best, The Creative One, John 4 Acres, and many others for their tech content and formal yet informal sense of telling the world about a product. I feel it was when some of these names became more professional that I lost interest. I guess I enjoy the sense of imperfection and realism in my content, something that feels attainable to make, inspiring. I also became aware of a YouTuber by the name of Tweeterman287, who introduced me to YouTubers like ASHENS, still tech channels, but adding a sense of comedy. I felt this started my early interest in taking something which isn't usually funny and trying to make it funny. I started a YouTube channel reviewing old tech that I had lying around my house. I said way too many times, but I had a load of fun, opening old Apple computers and showing people what they were used for 10 years prior to even then. I picked up a small fan base. This sense of personality in technology videos introduced me to the concept of vlogging through channels such as Charlie Is So Cool Like, Naramon, and more. This idea of being able to share your life through a camera to like-minded individuals was certainly something brave, and something I felt was missing from my channels. So I began to show my face and even share my name. I felt like I could connect with my audience a bit more, even though it was just a handful of people. And although it was scary, I began to get a small sense of confidence. By the time I was 13, I was showing my face in nearly every video. The big downside was, of course, when my YouTube channel got into the wrong hands. People liked to make a point of it at school, that they'd see my YouTube channel. They weren't bad-mouthing it, but they certainly weren't praising it. And I knew I wasn't good yet, so really this was more of a motivator than anything. It was embarrassing, of course. It took years to push through that and get to a point where I could own it. But by the time I was 15, I truly felt I was a YouTuber. So here I was, with a small audience and a platform. I didn't really know what to do. Additionally, I was in the year before I would be going into 6th form at school, meaning I felt quite pressured into deciding, or at least narrowing down, what it is that I wanted to do in life. I thought to myself, I don't have enough time to think about that. Then, at Christmas 2011, I had an idea. I was given a Panasonic HD camcorder, one that I still have to this day. I was ecstatic. It was brilliant. Still to this day, it is my favorite Christmas present. I started to have so many ideas, so many that it was overwhelming. Then I had the crazy one. What if I made a video every day in 2012? I began to draft up a concept based on the old myth of the world ending in 2012. Not by story, but by name. Surviving 2012. A joke name for someone who just wants to make a video every day that year, as sort of an excuse. Still unsure on if the idea was actually any good, I just went for it. I didn't tell that many people, so it was kinda natural. I felt like I had to do it, but in the best way possible. Like it was actually something I need to do in my life. It was the last year before we would be knuckling down on exams and the important stuff, so it felt like the perfect time. I didn't know if I would ever have the time again to do that, so I went for it. And what happened was amazing. I experienced embarrassment, anxiety, wanting to give up, but I pushed through it. Even if I was making rubbish, it was going to pave the way for something good in the future. So what kind of videos was I making? Whatever I wanted, really. I made vlogs, tech videos, travel videos, room tours, short films, and even some small animations, the last of which I hadn't heavily explored prior to that year. If I hadn't done S2012, I wouldn't have made Brainstorm cartoons. It was born out of rapidly thinking of ideas, to brainstorm, and I think that sums up not just S2012, but all of my YouTube life. Brainstorming. Also, during that year, I had discovered a show called My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, which actually became an integral part of my life. I wasn't creating content about it yet, something I was a fan of. Not just the show, but the people who were making content, some of which I would actually get to know in the coming years. When S2012 finished, I had 6 times the subscribers I started with. It wasn't anything big by today, or even the standards at the time, but I was getting at least 100 views on every video I posted. Every day. 100 people cared about what I had to make, and that alone kept me going. I started the new year with hopes of taking quality more serious than quantity, but taking on board everything I had learned and built by doing the opposite. 2013 became the best year ever for my YouTube story. I started to develop a silly cartoon series based on the My Little Pony show that I had started to watch that previous year, as a way of giving back to the community. I felt a real sense of belonging in the 2012 years of the BRONY community, and I really wanted to share that feeling somehow. It's something I still don't think I've managed to achieve, but hope one day to do so. I made 3 short cartoons, not really knowing how to animate. I just messed around, something I still do today, trying to figure out how to make something at least halfway there to what was in my head. I started to see success early in the year, based on the fact that the fandom was coming to my video based on similar interests. I felt like I was appealing to a new audience. It was cool, but I wanted to develop something a bit more original, even if it was a parody. I wanted to try and do something to honor the people in the My Little Pony fandom who I watched in 2012. So I decided to make the BRONY community, a series of skits based on notable people in the BRONY fandom. It was niche, but something I felt I wanted to do to say thank you in a way. I didn't expect anything to come of it, but boy was I wrong. Some of the people in the video began to take notice, some more positive than others, and they shared the video. I was amazed. My subscriber base grew 3 times in 24 hours, and it really was the most successful time of my YouTube career. That video led to so many friendships, business opportunities, relationships, and more videos. The BRONY community series will never be finished. It's something I hope to do whenever I feel like it. What I find interesting when I think about it is the parallels between my videos based on the Rabbids to my parody videos. I still, in 10 years, find inspiration in brands I enjoy, and while I want to explore more original content in the future, I hope to never give up on parodies and ponies, because they still embody the sense of community that I want to try and keep alive. That feeling I had of the days of me consuming fandom content. I feel like I need to give back in some way after what that did to me. I want to take a second to thank everyone who has helped me on my journey on YouTube. There are way too many to name, but they know who they are, and I'm forever grateful for giving me the opportunities, your inspiration, your time, and your belief in what I can do. I hope we can all make great things together for a long time. And of course, I would like to thank all the followers, old and new, everyone who has liked, disliked, subscribed, commented, pledged, and shown an interest in what I like to make. I will continue to make things for people like me, like you. What can you take away from my YouTube story? Well, a couple things. Number 1, my story took time. It was a long journey for me to get to where I am. Lots of reinvention. Happiness, sadness. I had so many channels lost in time, which may feel like a waste, but without those stepping stones, I would never have found what truly makes me happy. And who knows, I may even reinvent myself again on this platform one day. Can't predict the future. Number 2, there is a lot of luck involved. Some people have grown into huge channels in less than a year because they got lucky. They would have played the system and maybe even gone against their morals potentially. So realistically, I can't say that taking 10 years or 1 year to make videos will guarantee any sort of success. It's kinda just luck, and nobody can predict that. If you make videos for yourself, there will be at least one other person out there who shares the same interests as you. Just try not to think about it too much. Trust me, the numbers can become an obsession, and your obsession should be making the videos, not the dumb numeric values that come of it. So what's next? I don't really know. I enjoy making videos based on dumb little ideas that I randomly think of by myself or with friends, so I'm gonna keep doing that. So stick around if you like what I make, and I'll keep trying to get more than halfway to what's in my head. Thank you.